All right. Good morning, everybody. Bitcoin Brandon here from Los Angeles, California. A nice, bright, sunny day this Wednesday. Hump Day. The week is halfway over. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. Let's see what we have. What's going on? Good morning, Bethany. Bill Childers. See, Richard King. Elizabeth. Terry. Jason. Anthony Pinkston. Wayne. Torino. Paul. Lance. The UK Queen, Asmaret. Good morning, or getting ready for early evening for you out there in the UK. Got some interesting news for this morning. Now, as a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be dispensing financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, and share suggestions, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction that you want to go in. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is the key. I can't stress that enough. Last week I read an article about some 28 people that lost $7 million in a scam. That was an obvious scam, but they didn't have the education to be able to spot it. That happens. But that was a $6 million lesson. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. I read another article where somebody was pissed off that he lost, how much was that yesterday? 7,000 or something, a small fortune. Well, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. What's going on in other UK? Carl Davis from the UK. What's happening? Rule number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible, especially if you're in the ICO space. And I was talking to someone else about this yesterday. If you're in the ICOs and you're putting all your money into it at the beginning, when it hits the exchange, at least sell part of it to get your profit back. Personally, I sell 50% and hold 50%. That's how I do things. You know, when I get a good sizable profit, and yeah, I might be able to get more profit if I hold a little longer, but don't forget to always get your profit. Get your money back in a profit, and then the rest is house money after that point. And then rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What vehicle are you using to make that happen in? Stay focused. In the crypto space, things can turn around for you, positive or negatively, very quickly. One moment you just made a whole lot of money, the next moment you just lost everything if you don't know what you're doing. Don't get distracted. There's so many things out there that are good. That doesn't mean everything is bad. But you can't be a part of everything that's good either. That's why Warren Buffett is where he is today. Have a sound strategy and stick to it. Now, this does not guarantee you having success, but you will at least limit your risk. And that's the most that you can ask for. All right, let's go ahead and cover a couple of things here. What's on the docket this morning? All right, 15% of Metropolitan Bank's deposits are owned by cryptocurrency investors. All right, let me pull this up. And it is Wednesday. This is the day. My gardeners are here, so if you hear that background noise, just excuse it. All right, Metropolitan Bank, a commercial bank based in New York, has revealed that more than 15% of the bank's deposits are made by cryptocurrency investors and clients, and that the bank is willing to continue its support for digital asset traders. The banks are starting to come along. The other day, I was forced to have to actually go inside the bank because I got a report that somehow my debit card was tied to some merchant account that got hacked. So to protect my account, they froze my debit card, and I had to go, and they mailed me a new one, but I had to go inside the bank to get a temporary one. So I go in there, right? And there's a woman that she's worked there for years. She knows who I am. Ever since I had retired from my job and I had opened up a business account and whatnot, she's worked with me. She's always trying to get me on some stuff. So I go in there, she sees me, and she's pulling up my new card. And she's going through my bank's account. And her eyes get all big. And she looks at me. She was like, what, if you don't mind me asking, what are you doing? And I was like, well, why do you ask? She says, well, I know your account. And I mean, the past year, you've really been boosting your account. You've been basically saying, I've been making some serious money. And she was like, did you change careers or did you do anything different? Because the bank is able to track your habits. It knows what you spend money on every single month. And it recognizes the algorithms if you do anything out of the ordinary. And one thing is a fact, the average American has less than $1,000 in their savings account. Let's just say I have far more than that in my savings account. And she kind of was like, what the hell are you doing? Now, I'm at a crossroads here. I'm talking to the bank. Do I admit to the bank that I am in crypto? Because I'm careful with what I do and how I transfer money into my bank accounts or where the sources is coming from. Because Bank of America act funny with you. I know people that they change bank accounts every month because of stuff like this. So I basically just said, well, I'm consulting in the cryptocurrency space. That's all I wanted to share with her. Because you never know. I'm still talking to the enemy. I may know her for years, but yeah, you represent the bank. You're the enemy. But it was just funny seeing the look on her face, like, what the hell are you doing? But that's what in the crypto space, things can happen and turn around very, very quickly. What's happening, Mr. Thurman? All right, so this bank, 15% of the deposits are cryptocurrency investors. Says, we're certainly very interested in growing this vertical. We've learned that it's a serious industry. Oh, you're just now learning that? We've been saying it's a serious industry. There are some very smart people involved. Yeah. There are some very interesting ideas coming out that could really change the way people do business. Now, time and time and time again, I say that this is going to fundamentally change the world. Good morning, Lashana. I say this time and time again. And I'm always backed up by when you hear people like this. This is the head of the Metropolitan Bank in New York that just said this could really change the way people do business. You don't think that's going to change the world? Previously, in regions like the US, Japan, and South Korea, which have become major cryptocurrency markets, banks have dismissed digital asset investors and businesses supporting digital. Wait. I got to go back to the bank. You know what else she tried to get me at? She goes to say, we can increase, how much you get on your returns on your account if you agree that to always maintain your savings and your checking accounts at $10,000. And if you do that each, so basically, if I agree to hold at least 20 grand and never go below 20 grand in both accounts, 10 grand in one account and 10 grand in the other, I would get an extra, what did she say, 0.6% on top of what I already get per year. Think about that for a second. 0.6 or 7% extra if I guarantee never to go below 20 grand in my bank accounts. And I'm like, wait. I'm not stupid. Especially since I've been in the crypto space, I'm learning more about money. I'm like, how much money are you going to make off of me guaranteeing 20 grand for the whole year sitting in that account? And you're going to pay me an extra 0.6% one time at the end of the year on whatever I have sitting in my account. And she was like, but you've got a whole lot here, so you're never going to go below the 20 grand and da 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 da. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm not falling for that one. Because then if you do go below that amount, then you can be penalized for taking money out of my own account if I agree to that crap. And she was making it seem like it's a great deal because I'm going to make more money by my money sitting there. But the average person don't know. They don't know how the whole system works. I'm making them money. That's why a lot of people are like, I don't even put my money in the banks no more. It's just sit straight up in crypto. I'm not doing 100% of that yet. I'm not no fool. I have my own investment strategy and plan, but I just thought that was interesting. But anyways, let's get back to this. Similar to how Rosenberg admitted that the bank only recently learned that cryptocurrency market is a serious industry, banks in South Korea and Japan were dismissive of the cryptocurrency up until mid-2017. But recognizing the rapid growth rate of digital asset exchanges and the market as a whole, and the entrance of the world's biggest financial institutions, such as Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, it has become significantly harder for commercial banks to dismiss the cryptocurrency market and be left behind. You see that? And I said this last year, what will happen when one industry does it, or one business in an industry does it, if the other businesses want to remain competitive, even if they don't understand it or like it, they have to move into this space as well. They have to, or they're going to end up like Blockbuster and Hollywood Video. The only thing that survived is the Red Box. Is that the one that's in the grocery stores for those that still go and get DVDs? And soon, there's not going to be any DVDs or cable lines. It means free TV, Fire Sticks and all that stuff. But the banks, if they want to remain competitive, they better adopt this space and the technology. So, in South Korea, for instance, Kookmin Bank, the country's biggest bank, outright banned cryptocurrency businesses and stopped providing virtual bank accounts to cryptocurrency exchanges in December 2017. The surprising move of Kookmin Bank led investors to worry about the short-term future of the market and ponder about the fate of cryptocurrency exchanges. Almost immediately after Kookmin Bank declared its end of support for digital asset businesses, Shinhan Bank, the second largest commercial bank in South Korea, started to support digital asset exchanges, providing virtual bank accounts and other systems that businesses may need to operate seamlessly. So the biggest bank banned it, and all that did was create an opportunity for the second biggest bank. Joe Cicolo, the president of compliance service provider BitAML, said that banks like Metropolitan Bank of the US and Shinhan Bank of South Korea, which are willing to support digital asset exchanges, are corporations that are able to take the compliance risks involved in dealing with an emerging and exponentially, you see that word there, exponentially growing industry. It's very difficult for a bank to maintain a pro-Bitcoin stance. If you have a new officer come into a financial institution, they may take the opportunity to put a different stance on high-risk customers, such as crypto companies, Cicolo said. In May, Bloomberg reported that Zappo, a secure Bitcoin wallet and vault platform, has more than $10 billion in deposits from Bitcoin investors, which surpassed the deposits individual investors and businesses have made to 98% of the 5,670 banks in the U.S. Major commercial banks are aware that digital asset investors need places to store billions of dollars in a safe manner. And entering the cryptocurrency market during a period in which most financial institutions are sitting on the sidelines could give early mover advantage to the banks that move first. Remember at the beginning of the year I said that whatever entrepreneur creates a bank that is going to be supporting crypto and people with crypto accounts, they're going to end up being one of the largest banks in the world. And Michael Novogratz is the first to move on that. He's the first. So that's only smart. All right, hope you learned something off that article. Let's go on to the next. Come on, computer. Bitcoin price outperformed crypto hedge fund Pantera Capital last month. So it outperformed a hedge fund. Sometimes it doesn't pay to diversify. Just ask cryptocurrency hedge fund Pantera Capital, whose fund underperformed the Bitcoin price last month. According to Bloomberg, the firm's digital asset fund underperformed Bitcoin during May as the cryptocurrency markets continued to decline further from the all-time highs they set in late December and early January. CEO Dan Morehead acknowledged the poor performance in a monthly investor newsletter distributed to clients on Tuesday, explaining that the fund had dropped 26% for the month and is now down 51% in 2018. The Bitcoin price, meanwhile, posted a 15% decline in May and is also down approximately 51% for the year. That may not exactly be an attractive return on investment, depending on are you looking short-term or long-term, but at least it comes without Pantera's management fee. Pantera's poor performance in May represented a sharp reversal from April, when it rallied 46.2% to outperform the flagship cryptocurrency, as well as the crypto market writ large. Morehead attributed the recent decline to its stakes in Dash, Waves, BitShares, and Omai's Go, assets which fared poorly during the period. Diversification is a common investment strategy, but its wisdom in regard to the cryptocurrency markets has long been in debate. Individual asset prices remain highly correlated, and even today the majority of fiat investments flow into the cryptocurrency ecosystem through Bitcoin. Moreover, so-called Bitcoin maximalists often point to market cap charts from past years as evidence that, at least to date, diversification has been a poor strategy. To wit, just 2 of the 10 most valuable cryptocurrencies in June 2013, Bitcoin and Litecoin, still rank in the top 100. That's an extreme situation given the nascency of the ecosystem at the time. But glances back at market cap charts from years past reveal a number of now forgotten projects that investors once believed could take Bitcoin's crypto crown. Wait. Let me look at the crypto chart right now. I want to look at the top 10. At least talking about the top 100, Bitcoin and Litecoin. Hold on, let's pull up the coinmarketcap.com. All right. I can tell just by eyeballing this. Coins that have been here for about a year around the top 10. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash since last August or September. EOS, EOS has not been, it's a top 5 coin right now. It has not been that high, this high before. Litecoin, yes. Stellar Cardano, no. It was Dash. The one that seems to be missing that used to be here for a long time is Dash. And Dash is number 13. Monero, Neo, Tether, IOTA. Tron is one that came out of nowhere. Binance Coin, VeChain. Those 3 are kind of new. But the top 10 coins have been pretty steady for the past year. So you don't just go, Bitcoin and Litecoin. No, there's more than that. Litecoin is number 6. Didn't even say Ethereum. How are you going to say that? You don't even say Ethereum. So anyways, maybe because they didn't say Ethereum was going to take over Bitcoin, but Litecoin's been claimed too. All right. Anyways, let's go on to the next article. What do we have? Now I'll save that one for tonight. Coming reckoning will shake up ICO market. The CBOE president. Now I'm going to pay attention to this. Why? The CBOE and the CME, I personally believe that they are responsible for doing market manipulation. That's my personal belief. So when they speak, I want to pay attention to see where they're headed, where their head is at. The reckoning will come in two waves. There's a big shakeup happening in the ICO market, and it should be keeping investors up at night, says CBOE President and COO Chris Concannon. Concannon, also CEO of BATS Global Markets, told Business Insider that the market for ICOs is about to undergo major regulatory changes, leading to the SEC classifying ICO tokens as securities and then pursuing industry participants and seeking litigation. Well, that's not nothing new. Coming from a Wall Street trader, the pronouncement could often be dismissed as FUD. If you don't know what that means fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's a nerd term used in the crypto space. But Concannon has long been one of Wall Street's most prominent cryptocurrency advocates. With CBOE launching Bitcoin futures trading last year, Concannon believes that the SEC will first pursue ICO market participants individually and then issue class action lawsuits against the ICO teams and projects themselves. While U.S. officials have been repeatedly criticized for their unclear stance on cryptocurrencies and ICOs earlier this month, SEC Chief Jay Clayton cleared some things up by categorically stating that ICOs would not be given special regulatory treatment and that many of the ICOs on the market were indeed selling securities and that the SEC would take action to regulate them. Any ICO selling tokens that essentially represent a future share in the profits of the ICO project are to be classed as securities, and Concannon says the waves of regulation coming are not to be taken lightly. I agree with that. The SEC subpoenaed dozens of cryptocurrency firms this year, and if Concannon is correct, they're just getting started. Well, he is correct. I mean, that's not a secret. Over $5 billion have already been raised through ICOs this year alone, with some estimates ranging above $7 billion. The SEC will now be deciding which of the projects which received funding and issued tokens were actually issuing unregistered securities. All of them. All right, that's not rocket science. All of them. Something that could land both the project teams and investors themselves in hot water, legally speaking. That's true. The actual party that offered the unregistered coin, they could have been involved in issuing an unregistered security, Concannon said. Anyone who sold that off could be deemed now that's interesting there. Anyone who sold that off could be deemed an unregistered underwriter. Cornell University professor on financial regulation Robert Hockett said it is unclear whether the SEC would retroactively seek legal action against all market participants at this time. Yes, they will. They just don't have the manpower just yet. That's like saying, if you committed tax fraud 5 years ago, will the IRS still come after me? I mean, it was 5 years ago. Yes. Yes, they will. Well, since when does the government ever leave money on the table? Never. Never. So yeah, they're going to come back after that. I don't think it is the case that people involved in the business are going to be prosecuted against as if they have been violating the law, Hockett said, but there is a little bit of room for exception with something particularly egregious. The real concern is that for investors, ICOs deemed as unregistered securities could be rendered completely worthless, which is where Concannon's prophetic second catastrophic wave kicks in. Okay, what's your second wave? If you sold someone an unregistered security, you are liable to them if they decide to take them to court. Concannon said. If events unfold as Concannon is describing, U.S. investors could be in for a free-for-all of lawsuits as investors scrabble to minimize losses and defend themselves against other parties doing the same by taking legal actions. The market has seen a number of class action lawsuits. That's one thing. You will never see me being a part of a class action lawsuit. A disgruntled Ripple investor has hit Ripple with a class action lawsuit concerning the security classification of the cryptocurrency, and similar suits have been filed against other projects, including Tezos. Professor Hawkett believes that lawsuits of this nature may indeed hold up in a court of law. If they can prove investors were defrauded and misled by people who were better suited to understand the regulatory framework, but still instilled in investors a, no pun intended, what do you mean by that? No pun intended, false sense of security, then some suits would have merit. That's shaky ground right there. The only way you can say a false sense of security is if somebody believes that they were promised or guaranteed something. And the moment you see anything, an ICO, a business or whatever, that gives you a guarantee, run the other direction. Run the other direction. But you have people that don't. Well, they promised I was going to make 40%. I only made 25%. I'm suing. Yes, there are people like that. Dude, you still made a 25% profit. I don't care. I was advertised that I was going to make a 40% profit. I'm suing. So you gotta be careful there with that. So it continues. It is a legal life cycle of every new asset that becomes highly popular, he said. It was true for tulips, junk bonds, and mortgage-backed securities, and now crypto. I don't like that analogy. How you gonna, you want to throw it in there with junk bonds, mortgage-backed securities, tulip bulbs, and now crypto. So you're insinuating that crypto is just another scam. I don't like that there, but they did it. All right, next article. I think this is the last one. Yeah, it's the last one. I have two more I'll save for tonight. And this is important because we're in election year this year. So Bitcoin more influential in U.S. politics than ever. That's another thing. Whenever new technology comes that's involving money, you do have the criminals that jump in first. But then you have the politicians that jump in second. Why? There's money involved. A politician only thinks of two things: power and re-election. And the only thing that contributes to both is money, funding. So they see all this money being made in the crypto space. Of course, they want a piece of it. U.S. Senate candidate Austin Peterson revealed his campaign received and promptly returned a giant amount of Bitcoin this week as the donation ran afoul of financing laws. Leading candidate for the Libertarian Party's national chair, Joshua Smith, has made cryptocurrency a key part of his platform heading into the convention. Candidate for Congress, coder Brian Forday, former MIT Media Lab digital currency director and one-time technology advisor to President Obama, came out strongly in favor of cryptocurrency. The community is divided about political influence generally. But if there must be politicians, it's probably a positive sign some are warming to crypto like never before. I am very nervous about this. And the reason why is we have certain campaign law, financing laws in place to attempt to have somewhat of a fair playing field between the rich and poor who want to run for office, even though no matter what, it's still a rich man's game. But there's a difference in rich. There's a difference between somebody being called a millionaire because he has 20 million that he's worth and somebody that has 2 billion. There's a difference. A big difference. And if you bring crypto into this space, not only are you giving them access to more funds, you're giving them access to decentralized funds. You don't know who is giving you the money. KYC is very big for campaign finance laws. and you don't know where it's coming from. What if that money is coming from China, Iran, Russia, or any foreign entity that is trying to influence the campaign by backing a candidate that's going to serve their interest? Crypto allows that to happen just by the nature of cryptocurrency. It's anonymous and it's decentralized. So that part, because I know politics, that makes me nervous how that's going to work. So I want to pay close attention to this. Let me keep reading this. U.S. Senator and candidate Austin Peterson returns $130,000. So he said, to whoever tried to give us $130,276 in Bitcoin on Saturday, posted U.S. Senate hopeful Austin Peterson in what had to be a torturous Facebook message. We had to refuse your donation. Please donate $5,400 in order to comply with FEC regulations. Also, start a PAC or something, mate. Why did he use mate? Was it Australian or something? Mr. Peterson is a well-known figure in liberty circles. His background includes producing Fox political shows, founding influential website, The Libertarian Republic, along with coming third in the race for the Libertarian Party's presidential nomination in 2016. He's currently mounting an outsider campaign for Missouri's Republican U.S. Senate nomination. Should he win the nomination this August, he'll face incumbent Senator Claire McCaskill, Democrat, in November. Mr. Peterson's embrace of Bitcoin is well documented, and he's openly run on a platform embracing money's future. It's actually not the first time his campaign has had to return a crypto donation. Twice before, he sent back hundreds of thousands of dollars worth. He holds the record as receiving the most legally donated Bitcoin, roughly $4,500. If recent polling numbers are to be believed, Mr. Peterson is some 30% off of the pace for the nomination. Mr. Peterson's campaign manager told ABC News, I think it goes without saying we're going to see a lot more of this in terms of campaign contributions and campaign financing. It started as a slur. Mr. Forde's opponent branded him a Bitcoin apologist for accepting donations, insinuating something sinister. Brian Ford, a candidate for Congress, responded, my supporters didn't hold, but they made donations to my campaign in Bitcoin because they have faith in the technology. The comments accusing my supporters are completely inaccurate, sensationalist, and it is due to my opponent's lack of understanding of the technology. I agree with that. My supporters wouldn't have donated to the campaign if they were just trying to speculate. Mr. Ford wrote some of the earliest and highest up memorandums of the U.S. government regarding cryptocurrency while in the Obama administration. His accuser was a former SEC attorney, which might explain the hostility and misunderstanding of financial impropriety. Mr. Ford's campaign was backed by luminaries in the crypto ecosystem such as venture capitalist Mike Novogratz and even the Winklevoss twins. Mind you, mark my words, Mike Novogratz and the Winklevoss twins will become one of the richest people in the world. Mark my words. Ultimately, Mr. Ford came in a distant fourth place among 6 candidates, and so will have to wait at least another 2 years if he's inclined to mount another challenge. What about Joshua Smith? Challenges Libertarian Party insiders for the party chair. The United States' most viable third-party option is the Libertarian Party. In recent years, some have seen the leadership of the party fawn and beckon very mainstream candidates to its national platform. And while there might be nothing wrong with that strategy per se, libertarians such as Joshua Smith wondered what the point of even being a libertarian was if the official party offered up basically the same type of candidates as the 2 majors. Rather than just moan about it, Mr. Smith threw his hat in the ring and is running for the chair position as an insurgent candidate. Among his disagreements with previous current leadership is how they've not done enough to welcome the crypto community, a seemingly natural constituency. I agree with that. We also need to do a better job of leveraging our membership's connections within the crypto community as a fundraising avenue. That's smart. He posted, Right now, there are literally billions of dollars wrapped up in crypto, with the majority of those currently investing being very libertarian-minded people. I do not agree with that. It might have started that way, but the movement of 2017 had nothing to do with libertarian-minded people. Those people were not thinking, oh yeah, I want to use crypto so I can, have a revolution and overthrow the government. Those people got into crypto because they saw other people becoming millionaires off of it. They wanted to make freaking money. Had nothing to do with the policy, because most of those people don't even understand crypto in the first place. See, this is where education will let you know. How do I know this? First-hand experience. I went to the Blockchain Expo in London. 50% of the room didn't even understand blockchain technology. And they were not libertarians. They're trying to make a quick buck. But he can go ahead and continue to think that. So hold on. I got the gardener right here. All right. So it says, building coalitions with this community can help change our financial situation immensely, as well as quickly, and serves the added bonus of bringing new members to the party. Wrong. I have already started building coalitions among libertarians involved with crypto community leaders, such as Nexus and Vector Space Systems, and will continue to build upon those efforts as LNC chair. Wrong. Here's why. Bitcoin is not going to become mainstream because of the libertarians. It's going to become mainstream because average people in the United States, Republicans and Democrats, are accepting it as a new viable currency. They can care less about the libertarian values and their anarchist ways and overthrowing the government and all that other crap. They don't care about that. And if crypto is to go mainstream, then it has to shed its libertarian cape, because that's only going to hold it back. Besides, this is a worldwide phenomenon, not just a United States phenomenon. And the biggest crypto users are in Asia, not the United States. You think they care about who's running for the Libertarian Party for president? They were like, what the hell is libertarian anyway? So anyway, that's all I wanted to read on that. I hope you guys learned some good information this morning. I know I did. I am actually going to be doing another special Facebook Live this afternoon with the camera on, because I want to address something. I got to finish watching Troy Dooley's video. But I've been in the industry of direct selling for 20 years in December. This December, it will be 20 years. And one thing that I have learned is that success in this industry is not necessarily just about what skills you learn, but it's your ability to work with people. It's your ability to be able to maneuver between different personalities, different backgrounds, to be able to relate to different people, to be able to show them that you have a solution to their problem. And the reason why a lot of people do not succeed is because they fail to do that. They fail to be able to look beyond their own personal desire on, I want to make money, instead of, how can I solve my fellow human being's problem? And so in that, I learned that there's two things that you stay away from, especially when you are public. And that's politics and religion. Because people's religious faith has been inbred in them since birth. And you can offend them in any kind of way. And politics, people act like it's religion to some people, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on. And so if you have one belief and you start posting about that, well, then you're alienating the other half that doesn't believe in what you believe. So a good business person stays away from politics and religion and keeps it as neutral as they possibly can, with the main focus and the goal is we all want financial freedom and a better life, no matter what your beliefs are. But there is a but in there. There is a however. All right? And the however for me is there are certain things that I will not compromise. I have no problem saying I am a Christian, that I believe that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I will not compromise on that, nor will I try to hide the fact because I don't want to offend somebody who is not a Christian. That's my personal belief. I don't need to go on Facebook shouting it all day long, but I won't ever compromise on that. The second thing I won't compromise on is not about politics, Democrats versus Republicans, Bush, Obama, Clinton, or Trump supporters versus those against them. You won't see me posting all about that stuff because I respect your political view even if I disagree with it. It's your right to believe as you want to believe. I respect that. I can do business with you. We can break bread together. We can work and make some money together, even if we believe different things politically. That's okay. But what I will not compromise on is racism. I am a Morehouse man. And for those who understand that, that's all that needs to be said. For those of you who do not, that's the school of Martin Luther King Jr. So maybe that will help you understand where I come from. An institution that builds leadership. And we have our own mission. We have our own prime directive. That's why there's that stigma of being a Morehouse man that we don't talk about publicly. It's between us. It's like a brotherhood. So when I see instances of racism, no matter whether it's Democrat, Republican, white, or black, or Latino, or Asian, I will always stand up publicly against it. Somebody actually called me out for standing up because I was showing empathy for a race that was not my own, Latinos. As if, why would I care because they don't look like me? Because I have freaking empathy, that's why. Racism is wrong, period. No matter what the law is, no matter what your political beliefs are, that's just a basic humanity. And I will not compromise. So, this afternoon, I will do a Facebook Live with the camera on, and I'll be talking about that. I don't care about money first. It's about doing what's right. And if I lose money by things that I say because I'm standing up against racism, so be it. I can care less. So with that, guys, you guys have a great day. And I will see you this afternoon on my Facebook Live. And then I will be back tonight for late night crypto talk, depending on what type of good news that comes out. So with that, God bless everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Crypto Gen X.